What's up? The boys are back. It's the Starter Log, episode 3, off the cuff. You have me, Kyle. To my right, Charlie. To my left, Kevin. Also joining us today, all the way from Elmhurst, Illinois, the one, the only, Danny Grieve, a.k.a. Dag Baby Dag, a.k.a. Dag Where's the Money? What's going on, Danny? How you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, Kyle. How are
you?
Great.
We're absolutely thrilled to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. So can you tell me, can you tell the viewers, listeners a little bit about yourself while we have you today?
A little short introduction about myself. I'd say I'm a aspiring teacher and coach. Recently graduated from ISU in special education. Other than that, I guest blog, I guess you could say, for the Starter Log. Some of the topics I've been covering go from anywhere from sports to music to now the latest podcast. So I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. We're absolutely thrilled to have you. One of my favorite Dag Baby Dag blogs that's currently out there on the starterlog.com right now is the Beginner's Guide to Picking a Karaoke Song.
Oh, that was one of my, I think it was the first one, yes.
Yes, that was one of my favorites.
I appreciate that.
If you look on total page views all time, Danny breaks the top 5 with 2 of the 5 blogs.
Wow.
Cubs blog and the one aforementioned pick your guide to picking your karaoke song.
That is why we had to bring Dag in here today. We had to give the people what they want.
Exactly.
They want more Dag Baby Dag.
That's true.
Can't deny that.
Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
All right, so a little bit about what we're going to be getting into today. Each one of us is going to take one of the tabs that we write about, those being business and technology. Charlie's going to be on that. Dag is going to be on sports. I am going to be talking a little bit about culture. And last but not least, Kevin will be talking about fuel. So, have you guys anything to say, anything to add before we get into the...
Let's introduce, don't forget about our mic guy over here.
How can I forget? We have Sean in the booth. Shawnee Covers, how we doing today?
Come here, watch some bulls.
All right, we're in. We're good. We're live.
Bulls.
So I guess we can jump right into it.
Yeah.
Charlie, you are going to lead us off. So.
Great. So my category is tech/business. Category I like to write about a lot on the Starter Log. Something that I'm involved in every day of my life. And my first question for all of you, it's more, so our questions are going to be kind of like did you knows, and then to start, and then a question will be based off of that did you know, and then all 3 of you will answer it.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah,
good.
Sure.
Great. So did you know that pre-roll ads are being displayed on Twitter right now, as of now, and that Instagram has started advertising as well with sponsored posts.
Yep.
So my question for you is, let me give you a little background first. So I'm a big fan of ads. I feel they're a necessary evil. Kind of what we're doing right now is we're bringing viewers to a place, and once you bring enough viewers to a place and you want to monetize that piece of content you created, someone gives you money to be there as well, be in front of the viewer's eyes. So my question to you is, where do you personally draw the line between where an ad should or should not be, and when is enough for you? Let that sink in for a moment. Viewers at home also answer these questions. They're for you to answer. Write down. Speak out loud if you're alone in your car and the windows are up. So like I said, so Instagram didn't, I think it was like late December of 2015, they launched ads, sponsored ads. So they don't really look like an ad, but if there's a little sponsored symbol on them that shows they really are an ad, it's like a sponsored tweet. But then Twitter also had sponsored tweets, and it went to actually like 4-second pre-rolls before a video tweet actually plays, which is it was a little annoying in my opinion at first. So it's like where do you draw the line between I just don't want an ad right now, or I'll watch an ad before I
Are we just talking about social media space?
I mean anywhere. It could be really anywhere. Like what bother? Like, is there an instance where an ad pops up and it's like I don't need that right now. That bothers the hell out of me. What's your breaking point?
One of the things that happens in my industry, I'm always on it's a football website. It talks about where coaches are moving, who moved where they went, who got fired, who got hired, all that stuff. And so I'm on there a lot just to kind of see what's going on in the industry. But it's really they have one competitor, but it's not a true competitor, and it's really the only website that does it. So I think they're okay with bringing as many ads in. And you log on to that website, and it's just like ad galore. It's not only just picture ads. It's all of a sudden you log on, and all of a sudden you hear someone speaking about an ad that plays volume, and it's just like in your face.
You don't even know where the video is.
You don't even know where it's at.
Yeah.
And that is just extremely frustrating because you just want to log on there and you just want to see what's going on, and then your computer's about to crash because you got like 3 ads rolling in one website. So I think that the ads in Twitter have been okay because you can kind of scroll past them real quickly. Yeah. And like you said, you don't really see them. So I think the biggest thing is those video ads that just come out of nowhere and then they take up your whole screen. That's frustrating to me.
It's impeding your path of enjoyment.
It makes me not even want to watch it. It might be a good product or a good ad or whatnot, but I'm just like, get this out of my face.
I think the kind of going off that with the videos, I think anything on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook right now, I don't find it overwhelming. I feel like when I'm looking, especially through Instagram, I've noticed that there are like sponsored posts now, but it's nothing that's really, I don't know, like frustrating me in any regard. But I would say like the one thing that really, where I draw the line is like when I'm trying to watch like a 15-second video and I have to watch like a 30-second ad prior to it, that's like my frustration level, I think, actually gets to me. But other than that, it's like, I mean, with Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, there's no, I don't know, it's kind of like just you scroll through it, and it really doesn't bother me in the least regard right now. But obviously, I'm sure those ads will be increasing in the future. But at this point, I think it's like when I have to watch like a 30-second ad before a short video, it just is a little bit frustrating for myself.
Yeah, there is sometimes 3-minute pre-roll YouTube ads, which pushes the border for me.
Which I think it's okay if it's a movie trailer. Like to where you can skip it in 5 seconds, but if the trailer in 5 seconds captivates your mind, then you can watch the entire thing.
I love that button,
and I think that's pretty cool. But I think that's not too bad for YouTube users.
Yeah, I'm giving you 5 seconds of my time. If you can hook me in that 5 seconds, then you get my viewership.
Exactly.
If you can't, then allow me to escape.
Right.
I think that if you are presented with the skip right now option and you don't take that option, then you're a psychopath. I don't care how appealing the first 5 seconds of your ad is. I am never going to watch the whole thing. That's just my personal take, The trailer thing I understand, but if I'm independently seeking out movie trailers, I'll go do that on my own time. But I hate to play devil's advocate, though. It is what fuels the fire. I mean, if advertisements didn't exist, who do you think's paying for the Super Bowl that's coming up next week? That money that they give to the NFL is what powers the machine, and without that, it is a necessary evil. As much as I hate to say it, so I do enjoy watching the NFL. I will be watching the Super Bowl. And yes, I will be watching all the advertisements within.
Would you consider yourself anti-ad or not? Are you anti-establishment? Are you anarchy?
I am not anarchy. I get what it does for competition and the system of capitalism that we're in. Right. Sorry to get very economically political right here, but that's just the way it is. So not personally a fan, but I understand that is the way it is.
Yeah. And on a final note, I would say that, I mean, that's the main source of income for publications. So if you have a publication that you really, really like, you're going to need to suffer a little bit of ad to pay the writers for that publication to exist. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. But then again, I am paying money for my cable subscription. You would think that would be ad-free then. Are you not? I mean,
well, that's a provider, but it's not the network.
Okay.
2 different entities there.
Absolutely. You're right. Mm-hmm.
DVR, man.
DVR, yeah, there's the answer.
All right.
There's the answer.
So that was my question, but we can move on to Danny Grieve, who's sitting right to my left.
All right. This is a sports-related question, as was stated earlier. I'm thinking of try to think of a good way to word this, so I'll give my best shot. So, who is one current athlete that you think is underappreciated by like the general public, but will be looked at like in the future as like an all-time great? So, someone that maybe the listeners out there could that you think should take more appreciation for their play.
Oh, great question.
Good question.
Yeah.
So underrated, underappreciated.
Yeah, underrated. It's
same
like
thing.
underappreciated. Yeah, just underrated. But we'll go down probably as like an all-time great.
Wow.
Do you have any?
I could answer. I was gonna say,
say.
the one thing that I think, anyone that really knows me probably won't be too surprised, but I love the San Antonio Spurs. I'm a Bulls fan, but I do love the Spurs, and I think a lot of people don't realize kind of the greatness behind Tim Duncan because, he's they've won 5 championships, but he is like one of the most people think boring players, but is like touted by any NBA expert as like the greatest power forward of all time. So like a top 10 player easily. But I think because of his kind of lethargic play, I think a lot of people get turned away. But when you're a guy that's played for like 17 years and his kind of like his model of consistency, I think is, like I said, a little boring, but is someone that I think at the end of the day is going to be definitely regarded as a top 10 player ever. So I think that's
he's one of those guys that just understands the game.
Yeah, he just does whatever it is to win.
Yeah.
He's an ultimate team player essentially, and that doesn't always look as appealing as like a Steph Curry, but it shouldn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, I like that.
Mr. Fundamental.
It's fundamental.
Yeah.
It's a big fundamental.
Anyone else got one up on the top of their head right now?
That is a great answer. I think that I'm going to stick with the NBA too.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed this particular player about 2 or 3 years ago, and I made a comment. I said, this player is not getting the recognition he deserves, though I feel at this current point he has started to really gain momentum in the public's eye, and that is DeAndre Jordan from the LA Clippers.
He's a game changer.
He is an absolute game changer. The man is a human highlight reel, so it's hard not to stay out of the public eye, and also frequent appearance on the Jumbotron.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And, his level of talent and ability, if it's not where it should be, it will be in the near future.
Yeah. Teams really have to focus on a player like that because he's just. If you want to get into a contest where the ball's being played at the rim, he's just gonna. He's like 7'2", but also can get up there, and he definitely presents like a strong focus for another team when they're playing, and you'll notice that especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with DeAndre Jordan.
It's a good one. I
like
think I wish I said this like 8 weeks ago, but he's appreciated right now because he had a successful last 8 weeks of the NFL season. But I truly believe Kirk Cousins can turn into I think he could end up being a Hall of Fame quarterback. I did say that I thought he could be a really good franchise quarterback a couple of years ago. But I also everyone has this right when they come out of college, everyone wants their quarterback to be great, and then they expect it, but it's not Peyton Manning struggled his first year in. And, I think not only the way he plays and the intangibles that he has, but I think the way he carries himself is to that of a prolific NFL quarterback. You look at the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, all the greats.
Right.
He has those characteristics of a true leader and a true NFL quarterback. You're not going to be a real NFL quarterback if you have off the field issues. It just doesn't happen. I don't think it's ever happened. So I think he's a guy who can be definitely a Pro Bowler and a Hall of Famer maybe eventually. He's been underappreciated for the last 3 years. I think people are starting to appreciate him.
To your point, Kev, I usually don't like players who are cocky, but if you are a little bit cocky and you can back it up, I feel like that turns into respect.
Yeah.
More so than people hating you because you're cocky. So, the results proved his second half of the season that he can't back it up. So, I'm going to quickly build on yours, and I don't have too much to say about this person. I just think he's done a phenomenal job in a culture and in a city that has dealt with so much losing the past however many years you can remember. Also, a quarterback, I'm going to say Derek Carr. They're getting some weapons around him now, and I just think he doesn't look like someone who's in Oakland. Usually when quarterbacks go to Oakland, they just become a product of the environment, and they get worse. Yeah. And I feel like ever since he's been there, he's gotten better. Definitely. So I've never seen anybody in Oakland do that ever since I can remember watching football and understanding the rules. So I'm going to go with Derek Carr.
I like that one.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good year.
He did. I think he's very underrated.
Yeah. I agree. Good question.
Yeah. That's good. Kyle?
All right, moving on. So I am going to cover the culture section. And this is a quick question for you guys right here. So please provide me an answer if you have one. Though he has yet to win the Oscar for Best Actor, this Leonardo DiCaprio film is tied for most awards won by a single film. And these are the Oscar awards. And it's a Leonardo DiCaprio movie with 11 awards, 11 Oscar wins. Which movie is this?
Inception.
Wait, I'm sorry, Charlie. What did you say?
Inception.
Danny, you have a guess?
Give me a second. Titanic.
And your answer, Kevin?
It's Titanic.
Titanic is correct. Yeah. Sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So going off that, the Oscars is in, I believe, less than a month.
Yeah. Can I cut you off for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys like Titanic?
I'm not afraid to admit that I shed a tear or several hundred.
Yeah, I liked the movie. I heard a debate on Mike and Mike the other day, and I think Golick was saying it was like a terrible movie, and whatever. But I personally really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it deserved all the Oscars. But yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
I like Titanic for sure.
I've never heard of an opposing view on the Titanic before, but
you know what? One of my
my
favorite underrated scenes in that movie is actually in the very beginning when he wins the tickets in the card game. Do you guys remember that scene?
Yeah. It's not the painting scene. It's not your favorite.
That one's a close second.
Or the hand in the car scene.
Yes, the condensation. No, the poker scene where he wins the tickets is actually one of my favorite scenes. I don't know why. It was just majestic, and then you looked out the windows, and then you saw the Titanic and ran right across the bay or whatever it was, and jumped on. And I'm going to America. Lost his mind. I totally get it. So going off that, the Oscars is in just a short amount of time. What is the best movie you've seen in 2015, just this last year?
I need a list of movies in front of me.
I know, yeah. So
I'm going to go.
This again is off the cuff. Charlie seems like he's ready to go. So
I'm going to say Mad Max.
Mad Max.
100%.
With who's Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
Such a talented actor. Danny and I were just talking about Tom Hardy today and discussing
his movie,
his most recent movie with Leonardo DiCaprio,
which was great. Yeah,
a fantastic movie. I hope Leo finally ties it home for the Best Actor award. I think he can do it. The Revenant was phenomenal. And Tom Hardy honestly stole the show too. His ability to make me just hate him in that movie was just fantastic. But you almost want to side with him too. That scene where I don't want to give any spoilers.
No spoilers.
Let's keep the spoilers away. But please check out The Revenant. Mad Max. What did you like about Mad Max?
It was nonstop heart pumping action the entire time, and it was very unique the way. I'm a big fan of anything where there's like a wasteland, like kind of after an apocalypse, and how people survive.
Sure.
I don't know. Have you ever played the video game Fallout? Anyone? It's a really fun game.
Aware of it.
Really fun game. We don't have to get into that. But every colony has a resource that they're fighting over in this movie. Some have bullets, there's water, and there's gasoline. and it's cool, but they just have a kind of their own man-made economy, and then they're fighting over resources. But then every colony has a war party, which is all these unique vehicles that I couldn't even like dream up in my wildest dreams, all riding together, and that's how they battle each other in these war parties. And my heart like never just stopped pumping.
Yeah.
So, and even when I got out of the theater after,
Yeah,
it was great. It's really creative.
I thought it was cool because like Tom Hardy didn't have much dialogue, but still like, I mean, completely glued you to the screen where you're like, dude, what's gonna happen next? And the action scenes were just phenomenal. I thought
it was like 90% action and 10%.
Yeah.
Like hard dialogue and story. It was great. And, I wouldn't want every movie to be like that.
Sure, yeah.
But I was in the mood for that. I knew exactly what it was going to be when I went into it. So my expectations were set right, which is good when going into the movie because your expectations are too high or low. If you have really high expectations and then the movie falls short, you're like, that movie sucks.
Yeah.
Some people like it. So.
I'm not sure. I think this might have come out in 2014, but I saw it in 2015, so we count that.
Yeah.
Was Whiplash.
Oh,
I love that movie. Have you seen that? Anyone seen that?
Who's it
Kyle? Whiplash. It's with J.K. Simmons and
Miles
Teller. Phenomenal movie. It's
No.
the premise behind it is this
I gotta look it up.
Miles Teller, if you know who he is an aspiring drummer and trying to get into one of the top schools, I think, in like New York City.
Right.
Yeah. And J.K. Simmons, who you'd recognize if you don't know who he is like his real tough teacher, and it's just kind of going through the process of him getting in the school, and then just the rigorous like schedule behind all that, and it is just like the entire movie. I think Kyle and I watched it together actually, and you're just into it the whole time, and I think it ends like perfectly for the movie, and it's just an incredible movie if you have not seen it. Somehow I think kind of got overshadowed in 2014, 2015, but a must watch, absolutely.
Oh, an absolute emotional roller coaster.
Really, yeah.
Throughout the whole thing.
It had a lot of different levels of emotion and different types of emotion.
Something needs to be said about the soundtrack. Phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I find myself on Spotify looking up the songs from that,
absolutely.
from that album and Whiplash itself as a song.
Did they use other songs or did they make their own?
I believe it's a mixture of both.
It's a mixture.
Okay.
So it was a very, very good movie. You had J.K. Simmons with one of the breakout performances. We've seen that guy, that actor, J.K. Simmons, in tons of other stuff in previous work, but I had no idea he had that like depth.
Oh my god, yeah.
So as
intense, but
as a future teacher and a future coach, I presume, how did you take what his methods,
his style? It's old school. It's a lot of like the the old school kind of coaching where you think of like Vince Lombardi or George Halas, Bobby Knight, if those names ring a bell, but it's very old school, and I think that's kind of I don't know, it's kind of not outdated, but I think it's personally for me, it wouldn't be my style of coaching. If you know me, I'm not that type of person. I kind of believe more like motivation by just having self-pride rather than fear, installing a fear in someone to motivate them. I don't think that's as effective, but just my personal, I guess, philosophy on that. But,
I really can't picture you like standing over people be like, were you rushing or dragging? Rushing. Were you rushing or dragging? Just old school, if that's what you want to call it. Absolutely.
What is that from?
That's Whiplash. You got to see this movie. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
really?
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I didn't know you were quoting the actual movie. I thought you just made that up.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Whiplash is fantastic. I am gonna go the movie Dope. Has anyone seen Dope?
Oh no, I didn't see it.
Was it dope?
no.
I wasn't interested, to be honest with you.
dope. It was
So dope.
So dope. This movie was about
Smoking dope.
there was a little bit of smoking dope in it. Yes, that is correct. But this movie was about a group of almost a counterculture, a small group of young black kids in Compton, and these are not your typical everyday black children from Compton. These I believe they're in middle school or in high school, and they call themselves geeks. And what I mean by that is they dress like they're from the early 90s. So they got, tube socks up to their knees. They got like short shorts and everything's very like vibrant color. They got high top fades and they listen to like Yo MTV raps and they listen to, and like their backpacks are all like cheetah print and they're just like, they're totally immersed in this 1990s like culture, whether that be like with music or with the movies they listen to, the TV they watch. Like, so they classify themselves as geeks, even though they're in, like South Central California in Compton, one of the most dangerous areas in the nation. And the movie is about this one particular character who is a smart kid and is very focused and he's very driven. He wants to do well in school, get an education to eventually go to college and like be somebody. He wants to get out, and like that is not the motif of the area, and it's just his. I believe it's just over a span of a couple days. Like this whole movie is set over a couple days, and these situations that he gets himself in. There is some dope involved, and he gets himself in a hairy situation, but he by the end kind of works his way out.
I heard it was a pretty creative movie.
It was absolutely, it was creative. It was just judging by the fact that none of you guys have seen it, I would say it's supremely underrated as well. Very, very good movie. Dope. I highly recommend it.
It's set in present day, but they dress up like they're in the 90s.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't make that
No,
clear.
it's fine.
It is fantastic film. So definitely go check that out.
It's weird. It's only over 2 days.
Yeah, it was only a couple days. It was about maybe 3 or 4 days, not just 2.
You lied to us.
Did I say a couple?
But still, I mean,
a few or several.
So like a quarter of each movie is just like a full day. I mean, that's it's a lot of filming, a lot of in-day filming.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Kev, what you got?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to cheat a little bit on this question. I'm going to do a 2016 movie, if that's okay.
That's fine.
The last year. So it's this past year.
It's off the cuff. So,
Not mad about it.
Yeah, and I think originally when I saw Mad Max, I said like this was the best movie I've seen in a while, and then I think I might have said that about Revenant. So, and then I saw 13 Hours the other week, which is about Benghazi, and I kid you not, like it was like you're glued into the story. John Krasinski, yeah, right. A little different role for him, and you didn't know how he was going to do in it. But I think we've all heard of the Benghazi thing and what happened, but we don't know exactly how it happened or the details of it. And so kind of, seeing the movie and getting really in depth and of what actually went down in Benghazi, which actually started, it happened on September 11th. I don't know if you guys knew that, but
I did not.
It was kind of, and so I thought the movie was awesome. Great action scenes, a little bit of love touching, kind of just like what kind of all war movies are. And then some great acting. John Krasinski, I mean, he was in The Office. You never thought he'd be a SEAL, and I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. It was a great movie to watch. And I actually saw it with my girlfriend, and she loved it too, which she was never really into war movies, but great movie. Action-packed, kind of heart-throbbing, you're kind of questioning yourself, like what's going on? Why is this happening? And thought-provoking movie too. Kind of get your mind thinking a little bit about what's going on, So
puts life into perspective.
Yeah, I'd say go see that as soon as you can because it really is awesome.
I like that they put John Krasinski in there. He's a good character. I mean,
well, he's like
The Office couldn't be farther from that role.
No, it couldn't. But he did a phenomenal job doing playing a Navy SEAL. And,
who is he from The Office? He's Jim.
Jim,
yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm looking at him right now on my phone.
Yeah.
Imagine that picture plus like 45 pounds of muscle that I think he put on for the movie.
Yeah, I think
he's huge.
He's
I can see where the skepticism came from. That he would deliver.
He's all jacked up. He's got a full beard now, and it was a really good movie. They had great actors in it, but I thought it was really, really sweet.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
That was in theaters?
Yeah, it's in theaters right now.
Just came out like 2 weeks ago, I think, or something.
Yeah, I was debating seeing that in The Revenant, which is on Saturday.
Yeah, there's so many.
It could have gone wrong either way.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Star Wars is out there too. I feel like it might just be getting overshadowed. I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other big movies out there.
I totally forgot about Star Wars.
It was good.
I probably wouldn't have changed my answer.
It was good.
All right, Kevin.
I'm up. All right, so I'm touching the fuel category.
Let's remind everyone what the fuel category
Yeah,
is.
so the fuel category, it's got like a wide variety of topics. I think it can be anywhere from motivation, inspiration, to leadership, to communication, to how to work with coworkers, how to deal with people, how to understand people. So it's kind of anything in the personal growth area, something to kind of learn from, and something to get you thinking.
Yep. I like that term, personal growth, instead of self-help.
Yeah.
Because I see self-help in like the library.
Yeah.
But I feel like that has a negative connotation.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly. So it's more personal growth and kind of just a thought-provoking section in the blog and in the podcast. So this question, I actually listened to a podcast. So I got this kind of off a podcast I listened to from Barry Way Miller, which I did a blog on. So check that podcast out. It's really good. But I'm sure we've all heard this before. Trust is earned and not given, right? I'm sure you guys have heard that. So I'm here to question that a little bit and see what you guys think of it. Is trust earned and not given, or is trust given and not earned?
Can you repeat that one more time?
So is trust earned and not given, or is trust given and not earned?
Could it be both?
It can be.
I feel like
you just kind of have to.
Well, the thought that comes to mind first for me as I'm writing this down is the first time. It's like the first time you trust someone, I guess. If you don't have a recommendation, say there's a party or whatever. I'm hosting a party and Danny walks in with like a shady looking figure. But he goes, you can really trust this guy. This guy's my dog. Without that recommendation, if the shady figure like walked in, like how would you know to trust this guy?
Sure.
I mean, obviously there's that skepticism, but I feel like you have to. The given part comes from like giving someone that initial chance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like I'm going to give you this little bit of trust for this little thing, and then if that person comes through, and then more trust is earned. So more trust is accumulated after that little amount is given. If you don't have, your boy Danny telling you this guy's cool.
Yeah.
So if you're in another situation where if you have to figure it out for yourself, if you give a little trust, they earn a little bit more if it's successful. I'm going to go with both here. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
That absolutely makes sense.
I would say that
trust is earned and not given. I would like to say that, for example, taking what you just brought up, Charlie, if someone walked in and I didn't know them, and say Danny wasn't there. So I'm having a party.
Now we're at Kyle, dude. We moved the party to Kyle's.
We're at separate parties. Someone walks in, I don't know. I want to say that I would judge them. I would want to say that I wouldn't judge them. I want to say that I wouldn't judge a book by its cover, and it's easy to say that, but it's hard to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say about that.
So like any normal person, you're a skeptic, right?
Mm-hmm,
the first time you meet someone, I guess, if they don't look super friendly.
I wish I could say that it'd be easy for me to just be like, in the back of my mind, and that's not. I feel like that's something I need to change and something I need to work on. Is having that ability to just see someone, accept them for face value. You know what I mean? And I don't want to come across and say that I have any prejudices or anything like that, because it's not that way. But that's where I'm at right now.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's very, very challenging. The fire is burning.
I feel like you got to find a happy medium between. I feel like I've been a person who is too trustworthy, and then I get burned. So I don't think that's a terrible quality, having that ounce of skepticism when you meet someone new. you're not going to be friends with everybody.
But so if you don't trust someone right away, then are you yourself protecting yourself from a vulnerable spot?
I would say you're protecting yourself from being taken advantage of.
Yeah. So is that good for both parties, or is that good just for you?
Well, I feel that it's fine for me. I feel like it's good for me because I personally, and this is not to sound like a douche, I just don't need any more friends.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't have to just be friends. It could be a coworker or whatever, or someone new coming in at work. And kind of the way I look at it is, I've always been saying, hey, you got to earn respect to get respect. Like I said that like my entire like life. And now like I'm just more I'm thinking about is like you have to give respect to get respect.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, but like for instance, like let's say I'm working somewhere and Danny comes in and he just gets hired and I'm in the hierarchy of business, I'm ahead of him or something, and I got to take him through the reins or whatnot. And if I automatically trust Danny, and I don't know him, but if I trust him, that's basically me telling him that I value him. Yeah. And if I value him, he's basically going to believe that he feels valued and he feels safe.
Yeah.
All right. And so that automatically is going to say like, he values me, so I feel safe. I can trust him and I can value him. So the trust is given in first to get him to trust you.
Yeah.
You kind of see how that works?
It's a little different in a business environment because there's an interview process. So there's like an initial screening or vetting of could this guy be a douche at a party? Where if you're at a party, the guy just walks in the door and you don't know that about him. But I can understand what you mean by that.
Yeah. Because when you feel valued, like say if a guy walked in the room like you guys were talking about and we didn't know him, like at a party, but if you're just like, hey man, what's going on? Like you don't have any doubt in my mind that he's not going to do anything bad. You're just automatically going to trust him. He's going to feel valued and he's going to be like, all right, these guys are pretty cool. It's cool.
Right.
I'm going to trust these guys because they were upfront with me and realistic with me. So I'm going to be okay.
I guess what I want to clarify my point. Sorry, I feel like I left it a little hazy. I have no reason to trust that person that would come in. If someone walked in, I have no reason to trust them. So they have to earn that trust from me. That's really how I feel.
Yeah, I think you're on the other side of Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I think for me personally, like I think I'm someone that likes to give people the benefit of the doubt as is, and especially recently going through interviews, like I want to come across to the person interviewing me as genuine. But so like I kind of think, especially in that kind of situation, I want them to trust me. Obviously, I want the job. I want to be a part of this team. So I think for me, I'm kind of trust is given, and then that initially, and then obviously that trust can build over time. But I think like at least my own personal attitude and feelings, I want to trust people, and I want a reason to be skeptical of them, because I think that kind of changes who I am if I have that skepticism on who they are. So I think personally, I want to come off as someone that's genuine and honest, and I think giving that trust does make you a little vulnerable at first, but I think for me it's worth the risk to come across the way I think I perceive myself, and I want them to perceive me as as the genuine, honest person that I think I am. So
yeah. So, I mean, do you guys, I believe that there's some type of power to vulnerability, to, me walking into a room with you guys, and you guys know much more about me than a certain subject. And if I put myself in a vulnerable position, that's going to help me learn and grow in a certain area. Mm-hmm. But to where if I'm not vulnerable and I need to know everything and I'm kind of a know-it-all, which we all know, then you're not really going to get anything out of it. So if you can put yourself in a vulnerable position, then you have the opportunity to learn as well and to trust back. And so that's kind of my thought behind it. But yeah,
trust is given.
Yeah. I think it works with relationships too. I mean, it works with your friends, works with your girlfriends or whoever it is. Once you trust your girlfriend, it might take her a while, but she's eventually going to trust you back. You can't just sit back and wait for her to trust you. And same thing around if there's boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
Guys with girlfriends, verify.
It's true, yeah. I agree.
I would agree with that.
You have to put forth trust, or else the other party is not going to trust you back.
Yeah.
In certain situations of whatever the case may be. But
what is your definition of trust?
Well, there's what I learned in that podcast I listened to. There's 4 qualities of trust. Okay, and those qualities are compassion, someone being competent, consistency, and integrity.
Mm.
Now, every single person doesn't rely on all 4, but they rely on one of those. Okay, so say for instance, I think I rely on integrity, someone who's just going to do the right thing. But for you might rely on compassion, someone who truly cares about other people or something like that. So I think it's kind of based off those 4 things: compassion, competent, consistency, and integrity.
And that's the person doing the trusting, or that's the person, or are you saying everyone relies on one of these?
Everyone relies on one of these,
Oh, okay.
both sides of the trust.
Oh, okay.
That's what they look for,
Yeah, I feel like 80% of the time it's given, but recently I've been, and might be because instances have come up where it didn't turn out the way I expected. I've probably been in more cases now where it's like, you need to earn it from me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I float, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But in an ideal world, trust is given.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone did the right thing.
Yeah. And you can't, it's not like if you give trust, everything's going to be good. It could cut you at the throat and knock you down. But I still feel like I lean to the fence. If you give trust, then you have an opportunity to succeed more than if you're just kind of waiting back for someone to trust you.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's something you sleep on at night.
Something to sleep on.
That's all. Yeah, those are the only comments I have for that right now.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is a question that fuels the fire.
One could say that. All right, I'll go. Switching gears now. So this is a tiny bit sports related, but and my tech business section is going to be both about advertising. So deal with it. I like advertising.
Deal with it.
It's my favorite part of business. So Super Bowl's coming up. We know who's going to be in the game. Carolina blew out Arizona, surprisingly. I did not see that coming. And Peyton Manning going for one last Super Bowl victory. So I have an article up on my phone, Ad Week, released. I haven't watched the ads because I don't like to be spoiled. So I guess there's a little bit of spoilers in here. But I'm just going to tell you the company and then maybe like a celebrity that is advertising for this company during a upcoming Super Bowl ad. So I'm just going to list some off here that I think are cool. So there is Skittles commercial, and Steven Tyler is going to be in it. So I guess try to picture Steven Tyler in a Skittles commercial. Mm-hmm. Christopher Walken is supposedly going to have a Kia commercial, right? Heavy car commercials in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
TJ Miller, who I didn't know who that was, and I had to look him up, and now I know exactly who he is. Another one of those guys who, once you see him, you're like, oh, that was that guy in that one. I think he's in like Mama's Boy. Right?
She's
the guy you were talking about?
Yeah, TJ Miller. He's hilarious.
Yeah. He is funny. He is advertising for Shock Top, so a really good beer, in my opinion. Bud Light, of course. Surprise, surprise. Amy Schumer and Seth Rogen doing a Bud Light ad. Liam Neeson is doing something for LG Electronics. And Key and Peele are doing an ad for Squarespace. Which the Starlog is moving to very soon. And then last but not least, there is a Pokemon ad for Pokemon 20 during the Super Bowl, which I'm excited about. Yes. No. Fantastic news. So I guess let's do a quick recap here. Steven Tyler, Skittles, Christopher Walken, Kia, TJ Miller, Shock Top, Amy Schumer and Seth Rogen, Bud Light, Liam Neeson, LG Electronics, Key and Peele, Squarespace, and Pokemon. So that was my did you know portion. So look out for those. So the question part is, out of those ads, and I can run them off again because I know it's a lot to remember, what do you think will be the most entertaining ad, and which one of those is going to flop?
Oh, great question. I'm going first.
All right.
I am going with my guy, TJ Miller. The guy is hilarious. He has me in stitches constantly. If you guys haven't checked out Cashing In with TJ Miller, another great podcast you should be listening to other than this one, obviously. Don't leave this one to go to that one, but I'm saying it's a close second.
And if you're not driving, look up TJ Miller.
Oh my God, TJ Miller.
You'll know who he is.
TJ Miller is such a goon. Again, he's in She's Out of My League.
Which is a great movie.
Yeah, very underrated movie. Fantastic underrated movie. TJ Miller has the same hair that the orange or the lemon from Shock Top has, the wheat coming out of the head of the orange or the lemon. You know what I'm saying? Yep. The logo for Shock Top.
I think this logo
TJ Miller has
up.
that hair. It's the same consistency. It's very wheaty. That will be the best commercial. And I honestly didn't even. The ad was for
Flop.
Shock Top.
Shock Top.
Yeah, you're just talking about it.
TJ Miller, he's my guy. He's hilarious.
An orangey beer. It's like a lighter blue moon a little bit.
And the flop is going to be anything Liam Neeson. I think he's trash. He's the same character in every movie. How can you disagree? He's the same.
What if someone
has
stolen and has taken an LG Electronics phone or microchip?
That's going to happen.
Well, I can tell you what's going to happen. I've already seen it. I've already seen that commercial 3 times in all of the Taken movies. I don't need to see it a 4th time or a 5th time or however many.
I would watch Liam Neeson kick anybody's ass.
Yeah.
If Liam Neeson is kicking ass, that's my.
I would much rather watch Seth Rogen and Amy Schumer kick someone's ass over than Liam Neeson.
No.
That would be funny.
Liam Neeson's up there.
Or Key and Peele is going to be good too.
I didn't know what I was going to do until I Googled TJ Miller, and then I saw his face and realized who it was, and I gotta imagine that he's just going to kill.
Oh, he's going to murder it.
Because he's absolutely hilarious.
He's such a goof.
He is. He is. Flop. What were the other ones?
Squarespace, Key and Peele.
Yeah,
I'm very hit or miss.
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not.
They're like Key and Peele.
They did some good segments.
They have some good ones, but they also have some flops.
Substitute Teacher was great.
I feel like it's overkill though.
Yeah,
like they're like they're super dumb funny. It's just overkill now, and
that's true.
I'm kind of done. with them, but
it's not gonna be fun. But Squarespace though.
Squarespace is money, but probably next year we'll be on it. Doing our Squarespace ads. So
that might happen.
I remember there was an absolute tearjerker last year. What was that commercial about? Was it something?
The dogs.
Wait, you watch sports?
I watch sports occasionally. Yes.
No, you don't.
Hey, I knew DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan. That's his less talented white younger brother, DeAndre Jordan. With different last names. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna pass it off to Danny. Sorry, I didn't know you were done or not done.
I'm done.
I didn't want to cut you off.
We're cutting off.
Please cut me.
For the successful, or was it right question? Most successful or funniest?
Yeah.
I think Amy Schumer is like the new hotness this year. She is funny. She's funny.
She is because she's so vulgar.
I know, and so I think, and Seth Rogen. Are you not a big Seth Rogen guy?
I'm not a big Amy Schumer fan.
Really? I feel like you're maybe one of the few that isn't. But I think that's hard for me to imagine it not being funny.
Okay. No, I totally get that.
And so I think that's kind of maybe my safe pick. And for the flop, I don't know, Steven Tyler. I know he's a legend. I know he's a music legend. But
yeah,
at this point,
great call.
I think he can move on.
Good call.
I honestly,
Squarespace survives.
And I think it's Skittles. I don't know. Skittles should have gone back or continued with Marshawn Lynch, like one of the funniest people I think on a commercial because he's just so himself. And I think
it's got over him though too. Like it was over. That whole run that he had with the media was just like it was funny for the first 15 days.
And then other athletes started copying him too, and that made it not funny at all. But but yeah, that's my I think. I think I'm happy with those picks.
Those are great picks.
Great picks.
I'm gonna go success.
Pokemon.
100%. And yeah, I mean, I look at the names here. Christopher Walken is a genius,
right? And
I just, I get behind him. So I'm gonna say Steven Tyler is like the worst celebrity on this list. What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Steven Tyler, right? That's what you went with.
That's the flop.
That's the flop. I get that.
Flop.
I get that.
That's a good flop.
Pokemon's on the rise.
Even Todd looks like an old woman.
Yeah, he really does.
Good question.
Kind of an attractive
thanks,
woman,
man.
though.
Yeah, big old mouth.
I thought I had on the train right over here.
All right, should we go on to sports?
Please.
Okay. This one, you could have. This could be whatever, fun or a little depth if you want. Whatever way you want to interpret it. If you could be coached by any current or former coach, any sport, who would you choose and why? Anyone, any sport, regardless, alive or dead. This could be. I guess it could be kind of going to the fuel category as well.
Could it also be life coach?
Sure, if life coach. Yeah,
This is so. That's total. That's a total you comment.
Because you don't watch sports, so obviously you're not going to know the coaches.
I think we're gonna have to break Kevin into a separate room.
Yeah.
Give him like a full hour.
I know. I
to
could
talk about.
I could go on for days about
whole,
this.
yeah, that might be another topic.
Yeah. Alive or dead? Did you say?
Anyone.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord. I think you should go because
Can we go?
you're asking very thought-provoking questions. We gotta,
Okay, absolutely. I've been kind of split on this for a while too, and I was thinking of this earlier. And I think I'm going to ultimately have to go with Phil Jackson. I'm a huge
The Zen Master.
The Zen Master, yeah. Being a huge basketball fan and Bulls fan, obviously, I'm drawn to him naturally. But I've read, I think three of his books in the past year, and I think what sticks out to me the most about him, and something I admire about anyone, when being coached, obviously you want to be motivated, and I think he was great at kind of coaching people based on their individual personality. You think he coached Dennis Rodman, arguably his craziest time, and he was marrying, coming to practice or whatever in a wedding dress.
Mm-hmm.
And then also he coached Kobe, who was at that point in his life was very self-absorbed. And I think he, being coached, the reason I want to be coached by him is just it's someone that is going to kind of meet where your personality is and figure out the best way to kind of motivate you individually. And I think that's something some coaches or just people in general, managing other people, kind of don't do the best job as one time. They just want to stick to what they know and not kind of meet their, employees or players in the middle. I think that's kind of an important quality to have.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a great answer. The Zen Master is a fantastic answer. How do you think he would coach you?
Well, I think like I said earlier, I think I'm a person that likes to be motivated by, bringing out that I have too much self-pride.
Mm-hmm.
And things that not do my absolute best. And I think when I get motivated by fear, I think I don't really think with my head, and I'm thinking get a lot of anxiety essentially, or I feel very anxious. And so I don't think I maximize my abilities in any facet of life when I'm, being motivated by fear rather than just taking self-pride in what I'm doing.
That's a good answer. I was just curious, since you've read those books, do you know anything about Phil Jackson's personal opinion on having coached Michael Jordan compared to Kobe Bryant? I believe we may have had this conversation before. Do you know of any how he felt about the philosophy of those two players?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities between the two, just crazy work ethics, and I think both of them struggled with having their priorities really straight in their lives. But I think he knew kind of that he didn't really need to push either of them. Kind of think they're just people that are just self-motivated enough. But I think in terms of he's coached a lot of great players, but I think I think there's obviously more similarities than differences, but they're two tough personalities to still deal with regardless.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Ego management,
yeah.
The man. I'm gonna go, and this might be very basic, but he just pops in my head. I'm gonna go Jimmy V.
That's a great one.
Awesome energy.
Great, Jim.
Yeah, I just want to be in thought, cry and laugh every day.
Yeah,
that's what he'll do to you.
It's a full day.
It's a full day. He'll probably make you laugh on the way to the basketball game on the bus, and he'll give a great halftime speech that'll put you into thought, and then you'll have a momentous victory at the end, and you'll cry. And it's a full day. So I'm gonna do all those things.
I'm with you on that.
If you've never watched the 30 for 30 about his run with NC State in the NCAA tournament, it's great insight to who he is, and he's someone again that just cared about individuals more than himself, and really cared about all his players, and they loved him to the end. And hearing his former players speak about him, it'll Make you a little emotional, but that's a full day though.
It's a full day. The bold strategy of following the man on purpose to put that pressure on him, to put him at the line, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Put people at the line.
Yeah.
So make the free throw.
Yeah.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I'm gonna cheat again. And I'm gonna choose 2 coaches. One current, one past. Probably the guy who's probably had the most influence on me just reading his books is John Wooden. I mean,
John Wooden guy as well.
He does it right. I don't know how many books are written about him, but I mean, at least a dozen, I would say.
13, one for every title.
Yeah, and I think the coolest thing about him is he's always done it the right way. He's done it the right way with treating his players the right way, truly caring about his players. And that, I think, since John Wooden's, been out of coaching, I think there's been a gap between where people are just kind of going to do that, win whatever it takes, even if it means you're going to sacrifice a player to get a victory. But he was never like that. He was never going to sacrifice a player in any way. So I think that was pretty admirable about him. Current coach, just because I really like him a lot right now, would be Dabo Sweeney. I think he's got a lot of energy. And if you got a lot of energy, you're going to want to be someone around who has a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of excitement. All the players love him. He's cool. He's fun.
What team does he coach?
Clemson.
Bring your own guts.
Yeah, bring your own guts. I mean, you look at him, like every single game is just, it just means so much to him. And it shows in his post-game interviews. And he's basically crying. He's happy. He's happy for his team. He's happy for players. So the way he cares about his players and the way he shows his emotions, I think, are awesome. If you can show your emotions as a coach, then the players can connect with you.
Players are not units of product, right? They're people.
Right. Players
treat them like people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, those are both good.
Every coach.
Kevin held back too. I know Kevin's got more.
I got a list. I got a bunch.
We're on a time limit here.
I got a bunch.
That was very well summarized.
Well, that brings it to me then.
Did you have that one? What was the one high school football coach you touched on?
Yeah, there you go.
That was.
You want to get coached again by him?
That was Coach Frank Lenti.
Coach Lenti.
Oh, God, he's a legend.
Lenti the legend.
He's got about a dozen books written about him too, I think.
I think so. He's probably, if that's not true, he's at least read a dozen books. So I'll talk a little bit about him.
All right, let's go for it.
Frank Lenti was
you got to pass
first and foremost model American. He really instilled the strong sense of discipline that you guys see in me today. He was one of the factors in that. Just, I guess, to what you were going at, Danny. He kind of coached me. Actually, I kind of want to bring this back. It wasn't just Coach Lenti at Mount Carmel. It was actually my specific coach at Mount Carmel. His name was Mark Antonetti. Mark Antonetti was the offensive line coach for Mount Carmel, and
you were an lineman.
I was a lineman, yes.
Hey man, what you got against O-line?
Yeah,
nothing. You just don't have the O-line build right now.
Not anymore.
Kyle's lost a lot of weight.
I was about
you looked at Mark.
Yeah. I was about at my heaviest, not playing. I was a lot bigger.
Heaviest playing weight.
Heaviest playing weight, 220, 225. Heaviest life weight, 245, 250. Not a big deal.
Too much Donnie.
Let's go back to Coach.
Right, sorry, off
Coach
the track a little bit, off the beaten path. Coach Antonetti was, first of all, not only my favorite coach, but also my favorite teacher, and I looked up to him as a role model in ways. He was always himself, and who he was just a goofy, sweet, carefree man, and he treated everyone with a certain amount of respect. And I always saw that, and I appreciated it. And this kind of ties back to what we were talking about with trust. I always looked at that and I said, I need to do that someday. I need to be that someday. And it's still something that I feel I need to work on, and it's still something that I feel like I might struggle with a little bit every day. But I'm glad that I was able to have people like that in my life to instill those things. So I know that's not your typical favorite favorite coach answer.
It's cool how coaches can have such an impact on you.
It really is. It really is. And I know that both of you gentlemen, and I'm not sure, Charlie, about yourself, would like to get into coaching one day, but I feel like I know both of you pretty well, and I will say that I truly believe that you guys will make fantastic coaches someday. And I know that you're a fantastic coach already. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Dag will make a fantastic coach as well. So
Dag, baby, Dag.
So that's my answer. I'm moving on.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm up.
Yeah. You're up.
You're up.
All right.
Continue speaking.
Okay. I want to know, what is your biggest pet peeve? I'm going to go first.
What is this, a culture question?
This is a culture question. Culture and society. Culture and society.
We'll go with it.
Pet peeve?
So my biggest pet peeve is when someone is walking behind me and they step on the back of my shoe. Respect my space.
I feel like I might have done this to you before.
Back up just a little bit. Do not step on. Do not give me a flat tire. It drives me insane when someone steps on the back of my shoes. I hate it. It drives me nuts.
Personal space.
Well, I mean, it's not even about that. It's just don't step on the back of my shoes when I'm walking in front of you. That's it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that's like, don't enter this bubble. Don't enter this bubble. That bubble doesn't exist, but just do not step
I feel like you have a decent walk rate too. So if you get a really slow walk rate, then I would be like, walk faster. But you walk at a good rate.
Yeah, I have very long legs.
Yeah, you do have long legs.
We were cruising there. We were walking.
I commented on how much I appreciated the pace of your stride.
We do have a similar stride, and
my belly button's up near my nipples. I'm 94% leg. I get places, and I get
you
there.
move.
I get to A to B efficiently, and
Yeah.
if you step on my shoes, there is a problem. It's not with me.
I feel you.
So sorry. I'm getting fired up just talking about it, just thinking about it. But
We can tell.
I honestly don't. It's my pet peeve. It's
Yeah.
my absolute pet peeve. There's others. That's the one I'm going to focus on right now.
I like that. That's a good one. I'd say mine is, kind of like, say you get picked up or something and you're going somewhere, like a 10-minute car ride or whatever.
Okay.
And the driver or someone in the car is on their phone having like a full-blown conversation. Really grinds my gears. I'm okay with like someone calling real quick. Hey, yeah, you got this done. Okay, perfect. See you later. Talk to you later. Bye. Like a quick phone call. But if it's like a conversation like, yeah, what'd you do last weekend, man? Like,
sure.
Yeah, how about that game? Like, dude, we're in a car, man. Can we like converse in the car a little bit? And so that kind of that grinds my gears.
Absolutely.
I don't know, but
I think I know someone who, not here, so I don't think I'm trying to sub diss you or whatever you call it. But
no.
I think I know some people that do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna request the floor again because this brings me to
Jump
another
back in.
pet peeve. And I'm gonna jump
Kyle
back in
is
for
still
another round.
pissed.
I'm gonna jump back in for another round. When I am about to pick someone up and I text them well before, I will be there in 5 minutes. I'm a person that I definitely like. I feel like I do a good job of being punctual.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It drives me bananas when I text someone I will be there in 10 minutes and I show up in 10 minutes and then I wait for 10 minutes. That's an absolute pet peeve of mine. Sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I would say I've definitely been, sometimes I'm not on time, but I know I have a memory of me jog. Like I would like do a nice little jog out to the car.
Where you
like there's a time crunch. Like,
yeah,
just be respectful.
Thank you for picking me up.
Be respectful of some time.
Yeah, I get that it happens. It happens to everyone. It happens to me. But when it's
consistent basis,
someone is like notorious for doing it.
Yes.
You
know who you are.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Someone right out there right now is nodding their head.
Yes. Like yeah.
Right. Like, and then they're gonna call someone after this. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Someone right now is listening and not going out to the car.
I'm gonna. I don't know if this is my worst pet peeve, but I'm gonna sum up my morning sometimes, and how when I get to the office that Kyle and I work at, I just want to elbow someone right in the jaw. So if you're from Chicago or you visit Chicago, whatever, there's the L train, and people like to position themselves. People throw other people's, I don't know, they make it inconvenient, and they're ignorant, and they put their own needs on the L car over other people's.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the L gets really crowded, right? And you try to position yourself to, find your little nook or space. Well, if it gets really crowded, people want to just stand by the door. Like, people always want to stand by the door. But if they're already in the car and there's a wave of people coming in, you have to filter to like the sides or the middle of the car to make room for the next wave of people coming in.
Yeah.
And people just don't do that. For some people, just refuse to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But today, this happened to me today. I was walking in right behind a girl, and she stopped right at the front of the door, and just claimed her spot right there. And the car is wide open, and I almost tripped over her walking in the car. So it's just plain ignorance. And then couple that with me getting off in the morning and having to power walk at your guys' speed, and there's just slow walkers everywhere.
Oh yeah.
By the time I get to the office, I'm just not a happy man.
I know you do
Some
not
days.
like slow walkers.
I do not like slow walkers. And there is someone, Margaret will argue that I am a slow walker, but that is not true. If you see me in the morning, if you see me with something that I got to get done, it's going to get done and get out of my way. So it's a combination. Don't be ignorant on the L.
I can feel your fumes from across the
Don't
table.
be ignorant on the
Fuel
L.
is burning right now for
Yeah,
Charlie.
really.
People just want to make it comfortable. It's the L. It's not going to be comfortable. Scoot to the middle.
Mm-hmm. Be a team player.
I'm with
Be
you.
a team player.
I think you needed to get that off your chest.
Yeah, I
feel
did.
it.
I did. We're all in the same car. We're all trying to go somewhere.
Do you know what I hate? Kind of going off that. I've been in your spot before, and I've seen that person, but I've never said to that person, it would work a lot better if you just went to the middle of the car. And I totally should.
Some people do.
Have you?
People do. I've gotten very close. I haven't, because I'm just not the type of person. But I admire the people who are just super blunt about it.
Uh-huh.
I'm just not like that. But I've got it. That'll be my breaking point. I'll let you know when that happens, and then I'll be like, Kyle, I've reached my breaking point. And I'll just be like, move the F in.
Sorry to steal the floor again, guys.
Oh my God.
I'm a man of many pet peeves. That's why I brought it up, okay? So on the train ride home, I always go set 2 cars in. 2 cars is the quiet car.
Yep.
Some people do not understand the concept of the quiet car.
No.
So I made up a nice little trick. Someone is on their cell phone, yucking it up with whomever, and I get on my phone in a much louder voice. I go, "Oh, no, man, I'll call you back. I'm on the quiet car." And I hang up the phone, and then I look at the person. And I've seen people look at me afterwards and give me the head.
Yeah,
wink,
all right.
Yes,
My man.
you were not talking to anyone, but I know what you just did, and I applaud you, sir.
That's funny.
So if you guys feel free to adopt that move, it's beautiful. It works perfectly. And they go, I got to call you back. And they hang up every time. It works every time.
I need to get to that level of bluntness.
You get there.
Danny, you have.
Yeah, I have one. It's a newly acquired, I guess you say, pet peeve. So lately, I've gotten back in the habit of going and work out every day, and which is good at LA Fitness. And for some reason, old men have the biggest confidence of being naked in life. But okay, and so that's not my pet peeve. But so a lot of times where my locker is, there are 2 men cleaning themselves or drying off, and I can't get to my locker. And I'm you don't want to necessarily say anything or excuse me, but they refuse to move. This has happened 3 of the last 4 days. And so I'm just waiting, and I'm trying to squeeze my way in, but they're also lacking clothing. So there's not much I can do. And so this is very specific, but it's something I've noticed, I think, through all gyms with just old men have a lot of confidence, with no towels.
They just don't care.
I know, and I almost want to get to that level, but I'm not. But it's been a recently acquired pet peeve, as I said, and so it's been grinding my gears a little bit.
Yeah.
So if any old men in LA Fitness are listening, please
So
stop.
it's going to come to the point where When you yell and like, sir, can you please remove your Johnson from my pathway?
Or is it going to come to the point where you just join in?
Yeah, I'm closer to joining in than saying something. So
might as well just join the cause.
Yeah, it's almost like a battle I can't win. So, but yeah,
people say I'm an old soul. Do you think this will happen to me earlier in life? Like I'll be like 32 and I'll be like, all right, dropping down, dropping towel. Gonna use the towel as some butt floss on the open.
It's like more about them putting their time in front of yours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's just the fact that.
And I'm usually more in a hurry than them too. But
yeah, they're not in a hurry. They're old.
I know exactly.
They're in a hurry. They're dying. All right. Sorry.
All right. All right. Good one. Good one.
Sean in the booth. You got any pet peeves?
All right.
All right. All right, Kevin, you're up. All right. I think this is the last one, right?
Yep.
Back to the fuel section. Okay, so what is that one bad habit that you have and you've just been struggling to kick it?
Kick it.
And most importantly, how can you stop it?
How much time do we have?
Yeah.
Probably not much, but
let me refer to the scroll.
Oh, you know what? Oh, I know we touched a little bit on this last time. Like we talked about YouTube rabbit holes.
Yeah.
We talked about bad sleep schedules. So, but I think I have a new one, and the new one is that I sometimes reward myself too much at work with a mental break. So, and no, it's true. Like you can accomplish like 5 tasks. I think it's good to take like 10 minutes out of your workday and just like, check your phone, respond to a text,
refocus.
Yeah. Check Twitter for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. But I feel that, and I usually do that after I accomplish a big task. I was like, all right, I'm on Twitter for 5 minutes and then I'll go back to work. It just like helps the mind. Studies have shown too, even when you're studying in like college, take a 10-minute break from studying. Right. It's like the same thing almost. But I feel that I'm so generous with these some days. Like answering a quick email and then it's like, well, yeah, I just did that. So I'll check I'm too rewarding for my time off at the office.
I get that.
And I should be less lenient. I should be less lenient and should only really give myself time to do that when I accomplish a very, very large task. So I'd say that I find myself doing that all the time. And then I was like, I snap out of it almost. I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to be brutally honest here. One of my bad habits is I feel like I look in the mirror too much. Do you know what I mean? And like in almost a conceited way. And I need to, if I go upstairs in my house and I come back down, I'll look in the mirror both times. And it's like, I haven't changed at all. My appearance hasn't changed at all. I'm still the same person. Nothing I've done has changed drastically about me. Why do I feel the need to look in the mirror? And like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, I don't know why I do it. And I know it's not like I would classify it as a bad habit because I don't need to do it. And I think it might be a confidence thing. Mm-hmm. That I police myself, I'll be like, all right, I'm not gonna.
Was it because you lost a lot of weight? Did that spark it?
Or you just wondering like how am I looking right now? Am I looking okay?
Yeah, I mean, my weight has definitely always been something I've struggled with for sure, and something I kind of am constantly policing myself on. Anyone that knows me, like in my intermediate family, will tell you that I'm strict. With what I choose to eat, and like the diet that I'm on, and
that could be it.
Yeah, that definitely could be it. Yeah. But I know I do it often, and I don't know why I do it. It's not like I'm sitting there staring at myself for 10 minutes, but I'm just like I feel like I look too often. I don't need to. You know what I mean? Because that's not like. Yes, that's my appearance, but that's not like who I am,
No,
it's kind of like that's kind of like meta in a way, but I don't know. That's something that I think about, and that's definitely something I wanted to bring up because I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels that way. So
definitely,
it's good.
That's a good one.
Let's see. The one I was really thinking of that I've noticed I do recently, and I'm trying to break out of the habit is like. Sometimes I find myself, listening to like music or podcasts way too often, And I feel like there's sometimes when, like, I don't do it in social situations necessarily, or I don't think I do, but there's times where I feel like I get like I start listening to something and it just becomes like from a half an hour goes to like a couple hours, and I get like, listen to a podcast or music or whatever, and I feel like I just sometimes like feel when I realize what I'm doing, I feel like I should be, I don't know, like living life more. It's kind of like a weird feeling or whatever, but I think sometimes I just need to like be in my surroundings rather than be present, like whether that's at home or I think it's appropriate at times to do it. If you're working on something, you need some quiet, like music or something, that's like an appropriate situation to do it. But I do find myself that I'm like, I wish that I was like more present in the situation rather than the last couple hours like listening to a podcast or something. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to break that. Just anytime I notice myself doing it, like just stopping. And I think that's maybe the only way right now I can think of that to break that habit. But it's just something lately I've noticed that I've been doing too often, and I am trying to essentially break that habit.
Yep. People do that also with like scrolling or being on their phone in social situations, right? It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, same kind of concept.
Mine would be I think I've gotten better at it, but it's still bad. I mean, I've always told myself that I need to like watch something or have like a TV on like right before I fall asleep, which I don't need, because if I just go into bed and I close my eyes, I'll fall asleep because I'm tired enough.
Sure.
But for some reason, like we've all been there, like this Netflix, like I just feel like I need to watch something before I go to bed, and I watch something and then like I watch an episode and it's like, oh, there it goes again, and let's watch the next one. Let's watch the next
just
one.
One more.
And it's like, I mean, I've seen Friends like 3 times every episode. I don't need to be watching
all the way through.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm still doing it. Like, and it's just the fact of like, 30-minute episode put me to sleep, and then all of a sudden, like an hour later, I lose an hour of sleep and I'm still watching a Friends episode that I probably saw 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's so stupid. Like there's no reason for it, but it's enjoyable at the time, but there's really no reason for it. You're losing sleep and you could be listening to something else or just fall asleep. Yeah. I don't know. So I think that's my one big habit that is just kind of annoying.
I feel though you read the book The Power of the Habit, right?
Yeah.
It's in my room right now. I haven't got to it yet, but I feel like I'm almost like 2 books behind you, almost, because I just get all my recommendations from you.
Yeah.
And what we're doing, like a podcast, what did I say? You talked about a Friends episode, and I said like rewarding yourself with a 10-minute mental break or whatever, right? Those should be looked at as rewards, right? Don't they talk about that in the book?
Yeah.
Charles Duhigg, right?
Yep.
Says that those should only be given to you as rewards.
Correct.
So if you have done something really, really well, or did something, or you worked for 4 hours straight,
correct,
then reward yourself.
Right. But in moderation.
In moderation. Yeah.
And so I get the point, like, man, work real late or whatever, and then all of a sudden, like, I watch Netflix for 2 hours or something, and then it's like, I could have been doing something else, or I could have just been sleeping,
Yeah.
Or like, minimize your times you're gonna watch Monday and Thursday, so you're gonna be your TV show time or whatever it is, So it's all, you got to reward yourself if you're doing a good habit, but make sure you're doing it in moderation.
Yep.
Yeah. Sweet.
Is that it?
Dude, that's everything we got today, guys.
I think so.
All right, well, it was an absolutely productive, great conversation we had.
Thought-provoking.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I enjoyed the time that we had. And thank you again, Danny Grieve, for coming out and hanging out with your boys from the Starter Log.
Absolute pleasure.
Dag man. Dag, baby, dag.
Close enough.
That was a different version. But.
So, listeners, followers out there, if you have any questions or comments, you guys want to answer any of the things that we've talked about today, please send those our way. We would love to get your feedback. And that's all we got. You can find us on thestarterlog.blogspot.com. You can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, or the Facebook. We're all over the place. We're blowing up, soon to be on Squarespace. So keep your ear to the ground. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Until next time, Starter Log, Off the Cuff, Episode 3. We're out.